Welcome to another episode of Live with Laura. I'm your host, Laura Hettiger, and this is a conversation I've been really looking forward to having out in the open. We are talking all things aesthetics, self-care, beauty regimens, basically all the conversations you have with your girlfriends at home, but now we're having it out in the open. And the person who is going to be telling us all about it is a St. Louisan so many people go to, so many people know. Her name is Racquel Frisella. She is the owner of Racquel Aesthetics, one location in Chesterfield, another location you've definitely been by on Manchester and Kirkwood. She also founded RFA Skincare. Oh yeah, she's married and a mom to 3. How she balances beauty, business, and everything else, I don't know, but I have a pen because I'm going to be taking notes during this conversation. Friends, I'm so excited to be joined in person by the one and only Racquel Frisella. It's good to see you.
It's so good to see you. Wow, thank you so much for that amazing introduction. I'm extremely honored to be here today, so thank you so much.
Well, I'm honored that you are giving us so much of your time because, as I mentioned, you kind of do it all. So giving us an hour so we can learn from you is a treat. I gave a brief introduction. That doesn't even scratch the surface of who you are and what you do. Will you please tell our friends at home a little bit about you and how you came into the world of aesthetics?
Absolutely. So I am a board-certified nurse practitioner, and I have been practicing in aesthetic medicine for almost 17 years now. Every time I say that, I'm like, ooh, I'm starting to feel a little bit old saying that.
How has it been this long?
But I absolutely love what I do. It's my passion. And I stumbled upon the world of aesthetics back in 2008. And back then, things in aesthetics like Botox were so taboo. People hardly talked about them. I started my nursing journey as a neonatal nurse. And so back at that time, I was a neonatal nurse. And then I started kind of dabbling into aesthetics. And I just immediately fell in love with it because growing up, I always knew I would be in the medical field. I love helping people, caring for people. But I've also had a huge interest and love for the beauty industry. And so when I found out about aesthetic medicine, I was like, wow, this is that perfect blend of like beauty and science and medicine. And so I started dabbling in that. And then honestly, it just kind of started evolving and growing. And I took the leap a few years later. I started working for a facial plastic surgeon. I did that for about 10 years. And I never looked back. And so I've built my whole career really around helping women and men feel confident and comfortable in their skin. And it really is my passion. I love what I do every single day. And I feel like I get to help people change lives, live their best life, feel like their best self. And so it's very gratifying, very, very fulfilling. So in my professional world, that's what I do. And then obviously I'm also a mom. I have 3 little angels. My twins are identical girls. They are 8. And then my son is 9. So I had Irish triplets, 3 almost in 1 year, which was a very wild time. And then I have a husband, Sal, who is my rock, and he is amazing. He's a big entrepreneur and owns a couple of businesses himself. So we do have a really busy lifestyle, but we have found a way to make it all work. We're still learning every single day. We don't have it all figured out, but we are really just intentional about trying to build the life of our dreams, and it's a work in progress.
And I'm glad that you admit that, too, because sometimes when people see women marriages that are thriving and you share so much about yourself on social media, sometimes people forget, I bet it took a lot of work to get there, and we definitely forget how much work it takes to maintain and keep building. And I'm glad that you say you're working on this every single day.
Every single day. And just try to get a little bit better every day. And it's just consistency. It's just showing up every single day and just not letting yourself quit and just trying to become a better version of myself kind of in all of those areas every day. And just it's a work in progress. Some days you feel like you're not doing anything or you're moving backwards, and then all of a sudden you look back 3, 6, 9 months and you're like, wow, like we're doing this, we're coming so far. And so it's really fun to sometimes like pause and look back and realize like, wow, we've accomplished so much in this time, and just grinding it out every single day, just showing up.
Something that's so interesting, you always knew you wanted to be in healthcare, and being a neonatal nurse, oh my gosh, you have to have the biggest heart for taking care of the smallest and the most vulnerable of patients. But with that, you're also taking care of vulnerable moms who are going through one of the hardest experiences that they have ever had. I would have to imagine the empathy that you developed as a neonatal nurse has stayed with you when women come in to see you to get help on how they can feel their best, most confident self.
Absolutely. I feel like those first formative years of my nursing career in the NICU, I'll be forever grateful for. And honestly, now that I am a mom myself, I don't think I could do that job anymore, because you just look back and it's just different once you're a mom, the empathy that you have. And it's just not that you don't have that back then, but it's just different when you're a mother. But I learned so much about how to just care about people and help people, and they're in such a vulnerable spot, and that really does translate into what we do now in a totally different way. And it's really fun because my patients now are happy and healthy and want to be there. So it's a very happy, healthy form of nursing and medicine that I love, and it's extremely enjoyable and gratifying, just as gratifying as doing that really hard neonatal work, but in just a totally different way. So we're still helping people change their lives, feel better. It's on a different level, but it's definitely carried into my career. And I always tell people who are looking to get into this industry or things like that those foundational skills you just learn as a healthcare provider, as a nurse, as whatever that you form in those hospital years, those critical thinking skills, just thinking on your feet, it really is the foundation of everything that we do in healthcare.
Let's talk about aesthetics specifically, because I feel like a lot of people, even though it's out there, we sometimes don't fully understand what you are talking about.
Yeah.
So can you explain some of the treatments that you do, the areas you focus on, and definitely the areas that you'll see results right away?
Absolutely. It's my favorite thing to talk about. So in our practice, we focus primarily on facial aesthetics. And what that means is skin health. And so there's so many different layers to the face and to the skin. And what we do when we have a patient come in is we try to understand what their goals are, what their concerns are. What are you dealing with? Is there a skin condition? Is it rosacea? Is it pigmentation? Is it acne? Is it fine lines and wrinkles, anti-aging? What are your concerns, and how can we help you treat those concerns? And we have a wide array of treatments that we can use to help people reach their goals. So in our practice, we have an injector team where we do injectables like Botox, fillers, Sculptra, PRP. This is a whole other conversation, but a lot of biologics and regenerative medicine is entering the mix. Aesthetics is always changing, evolving. It's very cutting edge and innovative, and you have to really stay on the cusp of that, which is fun, exciting, a lot of work, and we're always learning. We're forever students, always researching, learning, trying to stay on top of the latest and greatest knowledge and techniques. We also have estheticians who do facials, so it's a great starting place for people who are just not sure what they're ready for. But a nice facial will just help our estheticians assess your skin and help you learn more about your skin type and what skincare products are right for you. They can do skincare procedures like dermaplaning, microneedling, which is great for just collagen stimulation. We have laser specialists, and we have a wide array of lasers. Lasers are amazing. They're energy-based devices, so they drop energy into the skin, and they can treat things like broken vessels and reds, brown spots, pigmentation from the sun. They can erase fine lines and wrinkles. Think of it like a polishing for your skin. So all types of things you can do with lasers. I love lasers. And then we also have, in the last year, added our wellness division. So now we're also able to focus on inner health, which is really amazing. And with that, we're able to touch on longevity. It's like functional medicine. We're able to really tap into gut health, thyroid, hormones, all of those things. It's all tied together. So sometimes when we're seeing a patient and maybe they're suffering from some chronic acne or some rosacea or an inflammatory skin disorder, now we can really dive deep and get to the root cause of that through some of our inner health testing. So it's all connected and it's all evolving. So it's really awesome that we're able to grow and offer that really full circle care. So it's really just about helping people step out into the world feeling like their most confident self. And that's kind of my mantra. I feel like when you're taking care of yourself, when you feel your best, you can really step out and then you can take care of everyone else and show up as your best self.
Especially, you work so much with women, men too, but I'm going to guess overwhelmingly your clients and patients are women.
Yes.
And sometimes it's really hard as a mom, as maybe a caregiver to aging parents, to take that time and say, you know what, I deserve some me time. And something that stuck out to me in just listening to you go on and on and on about all the things you offer is she really knows what she's talking about. And in this world of everyone thinks they can do everything, it'd be really scary to go to someone who I guess technically can do a Botox treatment but hasn't had the years and years of training. And you've already said you continue to train. It's not a, we're good, I know everything there is, I'm done.
Exactly, yeah. And as the market becomes more and more saturated, and I think sometimes it is a little frustrating because people will think like, oh, that looks fun, like I'm going to do that on the side or something. And I'm like, because there's so much that goes into it. Even something as simple as a Botox treatment, there's learning all of the musculature and the anatomy, and there's risk. These are medical procedures. So we are forever students. We're always training. We're always learning. I'm a national trainer for both Galderma and Allergan, and then we also have our own training academy called the RA Way Training Academy. So we do a lot of training for other providers across the nation as well. We just hosted a really cool cadaver lab a few weeks ago, and we had injectors from all over the country come in. And so we're really kind of trying to pioneer and invest in education and teaching people how to do these things the right way, because you're right, at the end of the day, our number one oath is to do no harm and to keep our patients safe. So in our practice, something I think that really makes us special and we pride ourselves on is patient safety first and foremost, and then of course amazing results and just the amazing experience. We want people to have like every touch point to be excellent, and that's kind of what like keeps me up at night, is just I'm obsessed with chasing perfection and just trying to make everything we do so perfect. So it's really fun.
You mentioned whenever you got into this field, it was taboo back in 2008, 2009. It was, to me, taboo for normal people, but during that time, I still looked at Us Weekly every single week. I looked at People magazine every single week. I'm going to guess the celebrities have been doing these treatments for a very long time.
Oh, yes, 100%.
And normal people just looked at them and thought, they must sleep a lot. They look fantastic.
Yes.
So it is a very cool time that now normal people have the access to these things.
Yes. Yeah. And I hope that now the stigma is sort of removed and people can look at it more like, just like we look at, oh, it's okay to go get your hair colored or your nails painted, like to do things for your skin and your face. It's very normal and it's very skin healthy and proactive. Like lasers can help with precancers and just age gracefully. So it's no different than any of those other things. And I think what it comes down to is, like you kind of mentioned, it's just finding the right provider who has the right training that knows how to appropriately carry out these treatments, because in the end, it should be these beautiful natural results. Nothing we do should ever alter the way you look or make you look like a different person or look weird or strange or overdone. And so I think sometimes when people see results like that, they get very scared. And so, we try to, with all of this training that we're doing, try to undo a lot of that and teach injectors, teach patients, everyone, that really our work should be enhancing your natural beauty, creating balance, creating harmony, correcting any skin issues you might have. And so at the end of the day, when your friends see you, they should just think, dang, girl, you look great. Like, what did you do? Like, did you get your hair done? Did you sleep? Did you lose 5 pounds?
Yeah,
like, they shouldn't know, like, oh, you got a laser and Botox. You should just look really good. And so that's what natural, beautiful results will look like. They'll just help you look very refreshed and rested. So that's the first thing I try to tell my patients when they come in for a consultation. And I can almost, like, feel, like, their body release relief because, like, okay, because they're nervous.
Right.
They want to make sure they're not going to do anything that's going to look weird or scary.
And normal people also don't know the terminology. We know that we don't want wrinkles here, we don't want wrinkles here, and we don't want everything drugged down here. But I don't know, walking into you, what exactly I want and need. And that's something that's special about you too, is because you then walk people through, well, this is going to help you achieve this look. Whereas some people might just be like, okay, let's feel the syringe and do this.
Yeah. First, I try to listen and understand what the patient is needing or wanting. And then I use that information to then educate them. And it might be a little bit something different that they actually need to create that desired outcome. And so that's where we'll educate and we'll teach. And then by the end, they're like, okay, that makes total sense. And we come up with like a great treatment plan. So it's a very collaborative relationship. But it's really fun and helping people like understand what they need to achieve their results.
You have the 2 brick and mortar locations, one in Chesterfield, now one in Kirkwood, and you've started your own skincare line. 3 businesses that you are managing and 3 little people that you're in charge of. This is where we are going to really get to the crux of how Racquel balances everything. I'm so excited to find out her tricks, what she has learned over the years. And as she mentioned, she's still a work in progress. So friends, if you have ever thought about what it's like running a business or getting into the world of aesthetics, making that first step to go in and have a conversation about what options there are for you, we would encourage you to not only continue to listen to this, but also share it with some of your other girlfriends, maybe your parents, even your significant other who doesn't really understand what you're looking for. This conversation will help them make much more sense. This is Live with Laura with Racquel Frisella. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Live with Laura on a rainy little Wednesday. It's tax day. Hopefully you've had your taxes filed. I finished mine yesterday with my husband as I sit across from Racquel Frisella. And I mention that because my husband is busy. I'm busy. But hey, we got it done just in time. But when I sit across from someone like Racquel, who runs 3 businesses.
Yeah, with Racquel Aesthetics and Wellness, it's kind of one business, 2 locations, and then RFA Skincare would be the second business.
And then your husband runs a few businesses too.
Yes.
How do you make all of this work? And I'm going to have a lot of sub-questions of that. But when you start each day, what's your mantra on how I'm going to handle everything the day throws at me?
Yeah. And it has been an evolution and a journey. So it didn't happen overnight. And I think that's the important thing to understand, because when you look at it, you're like, wow, they're doing so much. Like, how are they doing that? And it's like, it's been this like journey that started slowly over time evolving. And along that journey, we've created systems and we have support and help. So when people are like, how do you do it all? I'm always quick to remind them, like, I'm not doing it all alone. Like, I have a team of people around me helping me do all of this stuff. And that's grown with me. It wasn't like that from day one, But each day, like, that really is one of my mantras. I try to take things one day at a time, because when I open my calendar, and I'm very guilty of this, and I start looking at the weeks and the months, I will start spiraling, because I'm like, oh my goodness, we have so much on our plates. And like, one day at a time. And then with each day, we just are very intentional about prioritizing what's important. And I think the big thing for me, like what helps me be present where I'm at, is just I'm always kind of thinking like I need to be where my feet are. So like if I'm at work, I am giving 100% to my team, to my girls, to my patients. Like that's where I am mentally at and giving my energy. And then when I'm not at work and I'm at home with my kids at night, I really try to like put the phone away, be with my family, be with my kids, help them with their homework, drive them around to their 857 sports, like be a mom, And that's where the team comes in. I have an amazing practice manager who helps run the practice. I have an amazing brand manager who helps run the skincare brand. So when I'm not there, it's still, the wheels are still moving. It's a well-oiled machine at this point, and I have a team behind me helping me like keep all of this stuff afloat. And of course, it's never perfect. There are definitely nights where I'm on the phone dealing with a business issue or whatever, but that's just kind of how I try to like balance at all. And then in my personal life, that's grown too, because like as my kids have gotten older, like obviously now they're in school, so that's helpful. But there are nights where I have work meetings or work events. So I have, a great sitter who helps me. Like on Monday, I traveled to Chicago to host a training. And Sal last minute had to go to San Diego for work. So I'm like, okay, what are we going to do? We call on our sitter. She comes over, she helps, she takes over. So we just have this like team built around us. And if our sitter can't do it, my father-in-law, he's 81 years old. He is like the champion. He swoops in and helps us. So we've got this little team around us of a community that helps us with our kids, helps us manage the flow and the function. And then just creating like little systems in my life. Like I do grocery delivery because I hardly have time to go to the grocery store. And I laugh because when I do take my kids to the grocery store, they think it's like the coolest thing ever.
Yes.
Like these poor kids, they never get to go to the grocery store. And they're throwing everything possible in my cart. But I have like a meal prep girl who will help me meal prep a couple nice healthy meals a week so that when we get home late from work, because sometimes by the time we're done with work and sports, it's like 9 o'clock. And so it allows me to like throw this nice healthy meal together. And so without that, we'd probably be eating McDonald's. I don't know. So, I've created these systems, but it's all like happened slowly over time as the businesses have grown, as our lives have grown, and that allows me to like be able to do the things that matter most. So instead of wasting an hour at the grocery store, now I can focus on like the business or the kids or, but it took me a while to get to that point.
And I think that's something that moms really have a hard time with because we were raised of the generation that moms should be doing every single aspect of everything. Whether they worked inside the home or outside the home, it was still on them. So the fact that you are admitting that there are people that help you run this big, beautiful life is also so nice to see, because so many times we sit back and think, there are 24 hours in a day. How is she getting like 30 hours in the day? And you're getting those extra hours because you're delegating to other people.
I think that's one thing I've learned in owning a business and being a good leader is that delegating is key. Like you cannot do it all. And so I feel like overall I'm a pretty good delegator. Like I'm not a huge control freak. Like I love to make sure our little mark is on everything, but I really trust the people around me, and I think delegating is the key because then it allows me to do more things. And so sometimes you just have to let go of certain things and not feel bad about it, and that's why we work so hard so that we can afford someone who can come in and help us with some of these other tasks so we can focus on maybe some of the bigger dreams and goals that we have. And like I said, it all starts small. Like there was a point in time when I did every single piece of my social media, every little piece of it. And now I still manage my own page because I have so many relationships with people, and it would be very weird if you were messaging me and hello, Laura, and you'd be like, hey, I know you. I
know you.
But I have someone who helps make the content. I'll film stuff and then she'll put it together for me. So I've grown into those systems. And so truthfully, that's how we're able to get it all done now. It's just prioritizing what's important, delegating things that are not that they're not important, but delegating things that we are able to, and then focusing our energy on things that allow us to continue to grow, and prioritizing, what are your non-negotiables, things that you won't give up. So
what are your non-negotiables?
I would say number one is family. First and foremost, I'm a wife and then a mom. And I feel like my marriage is very coveted because I feel like that's the foundation of our household. And so talking about planning and prioritizing, I try really hard to plan date nights because you get it. I feel like if you don't plan the date night, book the sitter, it's probably not happening.
Going to happen.
So we have one on Saturday. So I've just I try, and it doesn't happen every week. It's not perfect. We're traveling, we're busy, but I really do try to make sure that we get those in because day to day we're crazy going back and forth, and sometimes I feel like we don't get time to actually just connect. So I try to set that intentional time aside so that Sal and I can connect and keep our marriage strong, because that's where it all starts for me, for our family. And I want to set that example for my kids too, because I feel like I want that for them one day, and I want them to see what a healthy marriage looks like. So my marriage, and then obviously my kids, they're only little for so long. So I have these big dreams, and I want to build these businesses and do these things, but I'm also not willing to miss every single field trip, or I'm not going to miss their spring musical, So that's where the planning comes in. And I look ahead at their academic calendar, and you have to be a good planner if you're going to take all this on. And so I make sure to look ahead. Okay, that day is the musical. Like, I mark that off my calendar as far out as I can so that I schedule around those things. So my family, then I would say like my fitness and my wellness, because for me, it's more like mental, honestly, at this point. Like, if I don't get my workout in, and I'm not perfect, it doesn't happen every day, but I try, at least 3 days a week I'll lift weights, and the other days I try to at least like walk or get some kind of cardio in. But I know I feel so much like healthier and better when that happens. So I try to do that first thing in the morning, and that helps kind of set the intention for my day. So I try to never let anything get in the way of that. Again, sometimes meetings come up and you just have to sacrifice, but I try really hard to like keep that time coveted, because I feel like it makes me show up better for everybody. And included in that would be like the self-care and everything. I'm kind of lucky because I get to be at my office, so I can be like, hey, I need a little Botox. But just the little things that help me feel put together would be my non-negotiables. So family, wellness, health, taking care of myself. And I think that's for a lot of people where the mom guilt really creeps in. And trust me, for me, it does too. Like, even with business, with self-care, like, there are moments where I do get mom guilt, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like, would I be a better mom if I wasn't doing these things? But I always come back to, no, I love doing all this, and I love showing, especially my daughters, like, you can do all of this stuff. You can create your amazing dreams, you can chase your dreams, and you can still be a great mom and a great wife. And it's not going to happen all at once. It's a journey, but it absolutely is possible.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I remember I was 7 or 8 years old, and my mom was a school teacher. And one morning she looked over at me as I was brushing my teeth and said, Laura, I don't care what you do with your life. Just make sure you do something where you are able to provide for yourself and your children. Don't ever assume that someone is going to be there to take care of you. And I have thought about that sentiment basically every week of my career, and I've thought about it even more since I've welcomed my 2 children. And I appreciate that at such a young age, she taught me that hard work can really pay off, especially for women. And I think it's amazing that your twin girls and your son too see an ambitious woman who has created so many things. And I'm guessing they even feel that in the sports that they do.
Yeah, I definitely think so, because it's just cute, like, hearing even their little conversations about things they want to do with their life. And I just want to set that example for them, that, like, you can chase your dreams and you can still be a mom and you can still be a wife, and that it's whatever works for you. For some people, they may not want to do all of that, and that's totally okay. But I think that it's important to let, like, young women and young girls know, like, I want to show you that it's possible. If you can dream it, you can achieve it.
And with the mom guilt, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was something I definitely wanted to bring up with you. You are in a unique position now because you are the boss. So if you want to be at the field trip, you don't have to ask to take time off. You're saying, I'm going to do this, book me out of this time. You have a lot of employees who work for you, and I'm guessing a good portion of those employees are moms. What is the culture in your business that you are trying to create that allows those moms to say, I am taking this time off to go do this for my kids?
Oh, I love that you brought that up, because it's really important to me. And it's something that when I started my business as a female founder was really important to me, to create a culture and environment that was very conducive for working moms. And so I tell the girls all the time, I'm like, I never want you missing your kids' musical. If you need to be at their field trip, like, I want you to be there. And so we've actually created little systems inside our company where no one should ever miss those things. So we have a great team. Like, people cover for each other. They can take their PTO. Like, we make it work. And that's the beauty of, being in a business where I have 31 girls now that work for us in total. And we're just such a family and a team. And so it is very important to me that these women are able, it's honestly one of the most gratifying parts of being a business owner that I never knew would be. It's not chasing the success and it's definitely changing the lives, but it's also watching the girls that are on my team grow and to hire someone and to train them and to watch them build the career of their dreams and like provide for their family and reach these goals that they've always had. It's so gratifying as an owner. That's like my most favorite thing. And part of that is, and yes, they are all, I swear, I think 6 girls that are pregnant or just had a baby right now. So we are very fertile in our office. Don't drink the water when you come in.
We recently had a baby boom here at Channel 4 where I think like 20 kids were born in about 5 years. So I definitely understand that. We're on the tail end of it right now. But as a boss, I like hearing from you that you want to see your employees grow. And truthfully, I feel like in today's world, most bosses do feel that way, but sometimes as just a regular employee, especially if there's a male boss, it can be hard to work up the guts to just go say the thing that you need to say, that I need this Thursday afternoon off so I can go to Eckert's with my son's school. What advice do you have for women to verbalize it so they are able to make work and family life really work together?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think you're right. Maybe it is different when you come from that situation, because when I started my business, I also was like, I want to offer maternity leave. We're a small business, but that's important to me. Like, these women need to feel like they can be home with their babies. And all of that stuff is so important. And I think if you want, as a business owner, to have longevity and have happy, healthy employees, like, you have to give them that space to be able to do both. But on my end of things, it's just so helpful just from a planning standpoint. So when the girls know, like, that's why I think it's really important. And just one of my like life hacks is like, when you get the academic calendar, I think the one for next year was already released. So I'm stalking that thing and looking at the important dates and just like getting those dates in right away, even myself, so that I like know and can plan around them. And I've even talked to my even though I am the boss, like, I still see patients a few days a week. And so on those days, I'll have, 20 patients that are scheduled with me. And then the school will be like, oh, we're going to have a field trip next Thursday. And it's a day when I already have all these patients, so I won't be able to go. Hopefully I'll try to convince Sal to go. I'm like, you can do this one. So it can be tricky, but I've talked to the kids' teachers, and I'm like, hey, if you get the dates, could you give them to me as early as possible? Like, I work and I really need these dates. And so I've gotten now, like, the teachers give me the in. They're like, okay, there's one coming up next month, So I just try to plan ahead and be as proactive as possible. And I think that, like, going to your boss and saying, like, hey, in 6 weeks I have this really important time. It's really important. It's important for me to have this time with my kids. It makes me feel very well-rounded and allows me to feel good about being at work. Kind of almost sharing your philosophy on life. I feel like that would, if you have a great boss, should serve you really, really well. And if you are working for someone who's unwilling to see those things, like, I don't know, I would have a hard time with that,
And something that I've realized since I've become a mom, and so many of my coworkers have become parents too, we're not lying about the fact that there's the field trip. And because it takes so much for me and other people to sometimes verbalize it, we'll go above and beyond the next day when we're back in the office to make up whatever someone else had to take on in our absence too.
Exactly. And that's what I found with our girls. Like, if they take off for that, they're going to stay late or come in another day or figure it out. Like, everyone wants to be successful. And so there's a way to, like, make it all happen. So I think that there's nothing wrong with trying to balance. And it's also just understanding it's never going to be perfection. And I found that balance, there really is no perfect balance. I never feel 100% perfectly balanced, but I just try to do the best that I can each day with, like, what's in front of me. And like I said, I don't make every field trip. Like, I'm going to miss the next one because they only gave me a week's notice, so it's not going to happen. But I try to at least hit some of those things, and just do the best I can to balance it out. And that really keeps my mom guilt at bay. Because if I miss every single one, then I'm going to have major mom guilt.
Yeah, yes, you are. And your kids are going to be saying, what's going on here, Mom?
Oh, they'll razz me.
Of
They'll
course
be like,
that's their
what
job.
The heck?
Let's talk about jobs specifically. As a boss, you have hired plenty of people. You've probably fired some people. In your personal life, you were talking about the team that you are building around you. I'm guessing the one you trust the most is your dedicated sitter if you are trusting them with your kids. As a business owner, what are qualities that you are looking for in employees and potential employees?
Great question. I think one of the biggest things is leadership ability. And you don't have to be the boss to be a leader. And I think that's something that is really important. Sal is a huge entrepreneur, my husband, and he had me read this book by Jocko Willink called Extreme Ownership. And I recommend it for everyone. It has changed the way I view myself as a leader, and honestly just the way I look at life. And he's a former Navy SEAL, so some of the parts are intense, and there's some history woven in, which is actually really cool. It's kind of like a manly book at first. It's almost intimidating, but I took so much from this book, and it just teaches you how to look at things how could I have done this better? And so it teaches you how to show up as a leader in every aspect of your life. And I swear by that book. But I think leadership qualities are so important. So just even if you're not the boss, just standing out as a leader in your team, setting the example, always doing what's right, and then people follow that, it makes you stand out as just someone who is very coveted in the practice. Okay, this girl is always doing the right thing. Let's all be like her, Self-starting is huge. I love when I don't have to say, okay, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. I love self-starting, or if someone has a problem with something, because there's always a little issue or whatever. I love when someone just doesn't dump a problem, when they bring a solution to the problem. So my husband taught me this one too, the 1-3-1 rule, where it's you've got the problem, bring me 3 solutions, and then tell me which one you think is best. And it's usually best and better than I would have even solved it myself. So, just people who are problem solvers, self-starters, that entrepreneurial spirit, those are some of the people who really shine. And you have all different types of employees. Some people, we're very growth mindset. So I never want someone to feel like they've hit the ceiling. There's always something more we can do, we can create, we can build. And that's really important to me. So I'm just very meeting people where they're at, growth mindset. And so I'm always kind of checking in with them to understand, some people are cool with where they're at, and this is good, and they want to be there, and that's okay. You can't have everybody who wants to do all this stuff. But I have others that really have these big aspirations. And so my goal is to try to help them get there and help them, create the life that they want or the career that they want. And that's how I can keep them happy and keep them in the practice. And so just really good communication. So those are some of my biggest tips. 1-3-1
rule. I'm going to institute that for myself, because I could be better about that. I'm really good at identifying the problem. But coming up with the fix, I can work on that. And the book, Extreme Ownership, that is Racquel Frisella's suggestion for how to take more ownership of what you're doing. Real quick, because we are up against another commercial break, what is the best social media handle to find you on?
My personal one is my name, Racquel Frisella, and then my practice is Racquel_Aesthetics. And then our skincare brand is at RFA Skincare.
Because she does it all, if you are just joining us in real time.
And I have a social media girl that helps me do all of the business pages, so don't think I'm doing all of those.
But that's even amazing that there are people who now do that, because when you got started, it was a whole brand new thing and a new skill set that you had to figure out on your own.
Yes. Yeah, I started every one of those pages, and I would go crazy. I used to stay up till 2 a.m. doing stuff, and then one day my husband was like, you cannot keep doing this. This is crazy. And so I was like, okay, I probably do need help with the social media. And I found an awesome girl who helps me with the content and the flow. And I'm still super involved, but now it's much more balanced.
Yes. And she's probably really quick at it, because that's the one thing that she's doing.
And I'm terrible at I am IT
Same.
Not good.
Yes, because you're good at 8,000 other things. So let someone else shine with one of the tasks that you can delegate. When we come back, I'm excited to pick Racquel's brain about the future of aesthetics, and also just the future for businesses that you are seeing in St. Louis. So friends, we still have a few more minutes together with Racquel Frisella here on Live with Laura. We have a few more moments together here on Live with Laura. I'm your host, Laura Hettiger, across from Racquel Frisella. You have seen her name all over town. If you drive on Manchester and Kirkwood, you've definitely seen your beautiful new practice. And another one out in Chesterfield. And I'm interested. My dad has his own optometry practice. It's called Hettiger Eye Care Center. Throughout the years, I've asked, why did you use your name
Oh, yeah.
for your business? I'm guessing there's a backstory here.
You know what? It's like when I was trying to figure out what to name my business, it just ultimately I ended up coming back to like, I've worked so hard over the last, at that time, 15 years or whatever, to create like my personal brand. And I felt like my brand was just sort of like my name. Like people would be like, where do you go to get your advice? Oh, I go to Racquel. Like I go to Racquel. So I thought if I changed it to something like glow skin or something like that, no one's going to know that it's me behind the brand. And so I felt like it just made sense because in our industry too, the names are all kind of like saturated. It all kind of blends together. So it's like, if I'm the brand and I've worked really hard to create like what people, I think when they come to see me, like what they're going to get. So if they know that I'm pouring that same level of education and experience and training into the girls that work there, I was like, I hope that makes them feel comfortable that they're still, even if they're not seeing me, they're still going to Racquel and like getting that same experience. So ultimately, that's what I ended up doing. And then with my skincare brand, I actually did like a little fun like play on words. So RFA, people always think it stands for Racquel Frisella Aesthetics, but it actually stands for Results for All. So I like had fun with that one because that's why I created the skincare brand, because I always was really intentional about bringing skincare into everything I did. So even if a patient was coming in for a laser or an injection or whatever, I would try to be like, hey, you need to be on skincare too. That's how you protect your investment, because you only see us every few months, maybe a few times a year, but you're doing your skincare every single night. And I was like, I want to create a line that has something for everyone. And I truly want it to be results for all. And then I was working with this branding designer, and then she helped me, and she was like, oh my gosh, when you put results for all, it's like I was like, oh, that's it.
Yes.
So yeah,
It's
it
meant to
worked out
be.
really good. Yeah.
And you've also, I'm guessing, been very intentional about the look of your practices. Please walk us through what they look like and why that look and the feeling is so important to you and the clients that walk in the door.
Yeah, I think it's just part of the brand and part of the experience. I want people to feel safe. I want them to feel clean. Like I don't, the joke in our office, like we have so many beautiful girls with long hair, and I'm like, girls, if there's hair on the floor, you get those vacuums out. Like I want the spaces to be so clean and impeccable, because it really is a feeling when you come in where you're like, wow, I'm in a very clean, safe space. And it's just about the way patients feel when they're in the office and delivering that high level experience. So we really do try to do everything to like the highest possible regard. So we really take care of our spaces. We want the best technology, the best equipment, the best furniture. We just want everything to look and feel luxurious and amazing, so people can really feel taken care of, because we understand these things are an investment, and so our duty is to provide the best possible experience. You're investing all this money in your skin and taking care of yourself, and so we want you to feel all of that value. So every time you come in, it's like a treat, and you feel amazing when you're there. And also just to make it feel fun and luxurious and not intimidating. You don't want to walk into like a sterile medicinal environment. You want it to feel good. So, we got to have the good vibes going.
You mentioned the word investment. You have made a huge investment in St. Louis. So has your husband. Is St. Louis a good community for small business owners?
Absolutely. St. Louis has been so good to us. And both my husband and I, like the community around us has been there and supported us from day one. And I had like tears in my eyes at our grand opening party, because I just kind of like put it out there like, oh, we're having a grand opening party. And hundreds of people just showed up pouring with love and support and champagne and flowers. And I was just like, honestly, like taken back by how much love our community has shown us. And I'm also very intentional with the girls in our practice in trying to give that back. So we really try to like participate in the community. We try to collaborate with other businesses, pump other businesses up. We especially love to like team up with other female-owned businesses. We try to like network, collaborate, get into the community, give back where we can. We are always doing like charitable causes, like donating things. And our community is so important to us. So that's something that's really a big deal inside our practice, to be out there, be in the community, give back, and participate, because St. Louis has been awesome to our family. We're deeply rooted here. I don't think we'll ever ever leave. Our family's here, our businesses are here, and it's a great place to raise a family. So we're very grateful for our community.
And as a consumer, I want to give my hard-earned money to businesses that then reinvest back into my community where I live, where my kids go to school. It's all for full circle.
Yes. Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm always trying to, promote and shop local and, where I can, because especially as a business owner, you know how hard it is. And so it's like our St. Louis community is great. And I feel like very supportive of each other too, which is really fun. So I love St. Louis, definitely a St. Louis girl.
You mentioned being where your feet are. Right now, your feet are here in the podcasting studio, but I know the second you walk out of here, you are going to go back to all the many, many things that are on your agenda for today. Let's look beyond today. What do you see the future of Racquel Aesthetics and the aesthetics industry being in the next year, 5 years, 10 years?
That is such a fun question because it is evolving like crazy. I feel like at light sheer speed right now. And it always has been. But what you're seeing in aesthetics right now is really this merge of aesthetics and wellness. So a lot of the practices just like across the nation who are really staying cutting edge are bringing wellness into the aesthetic field so that, like I said, we can give that really full circle care. We can touch on hormones and gut health and root causes. So we're really investing a lot into our wellness program right now and how that ties into aesthetics. And so that is continuing to grow because that, I always say with like Botox in 2008, how it was super taboo, and you're like, don't tell anyone I'm doing it. And now everyone's like, where do you go? That's kind of where wellness is at, like with hormone replacement therapy, gut testing, like things like that. I feel like we're kind of like breaking that stigma right now where people are understanding like it's okay, like you're perimenopausal or menopausal, you don't have to live with those symptoms. There are treatments for you. So we're kind of working through all of that right now on the wellness side of things. So wellness is taking off, and I think that we're just in the infancy of that. So that's going to continue to really grow and blossom over the next 5 years. People are becoming more like understanding, educated, accepting of those things. And then also on the aesthetic side, our treatments are changing. We're getting into a lot of regenerative medicine, a lot of biologics. We just brought on this really cool treatment where we do stem cell harvesting. So we pluck hair from the back of the head, and from the root of that follicle, they can harvest your stem cells, bank them, and then we can use them later. We can apply them topically after lasers, after microneedling, and in a few years, we'll probably be able to inject those like a filler. So there's so many cool things happening. The science is changing, and so we're constantly learning and staying on top of all of that so we can offer our patients like the latest and the greatest. But we're also very careful. We're never going to be like the cowboys. Like, we're not going to be the first to adapt and just use something without really studying and knowing the clinical evidence. So a lot of times I'll wait and watch what my peers across the country are doing, people I really know and love and respect, surgeons, nurses, doctors, watching what they're doing and then seeing how it's going, and then we adopt and then we learn. So it's a evolution as things grow and as we roll things out, but we're really careful to make sure that anything we do is very safe and results driven.
But even listening to you and watching you explain all that, you see the excitement in your eyes for the future. And that, as a consumer, again, makes us excited to see where things will go. Everything is cutting edge right now. And I also feel like just in general, we're at a time where women are realizing that they can take life and make it how they want it. What advice do you have for women who feel like they're ready to make a change, do something different, maybe even go out and start their own business? What do you have to say to them?
Just get started, because I think that you're never going to feel 100% ready. You're never going to feel, a lot of people are like, oh, well, when this happens, I'll be ready. It's like, it's never going to feel 100% ready. And I'm very lucky I had my husband who has such an entrepreneurial spirit, who like gave me that last kick I needed that was like, girl, you've got this, like, do it. And so sometimes you just need that person to just tell you, but just get started and go for it, because I always say, we only get one life. And as I'm watching some of the people I love the most get older, and you just start to really realize, and even this year I'm turning 40, and I'm just learning like, life is so precious. It's so short, and we only have so much time on earth. And so it's like, I want to live the life of my dreams. And if you don't take those chances, you'll probably always wonder what if. And so sometimes I'll picture myself, I'm like, I don't want to be 80 on my little rocking chair out at our farm thinking, well, I wish I would have done all this stuff. I want to look back and be like, wow, look at all that cool stuff we did, So I think you just have to like take the leap, go for it. Don't overthink it. Don't even look back, just do it, and it's never too late to start. I have so many friends that are just starting things now that their kids are off at college and they're like, what should I do next? And it's like, just go for that thing you wanted to do. Start it. What's the worst thing that can happen?
Right. Someone could tell you no.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to love the life you live. Mm-hmm. It's our time here on earth is so short, and you want to wake up each day with like inspiration and passion. And if you're not feeling that, I think like make a change and do something about it. You just gotta do it.
We are so thankful for the time that you have given us today. Thank you for sharing so much of your story and explaining things too in this aesthetics world. And if you want more information, you can contact Racquel on social media, the team at Racquel Aesthetics, RFA, skincare as well, or call them. I called your office earlier. You have the nicest team that answers the phone. Very well done.
Thank you so much. I love our girls so much, and they really are the best. They care, and I think that's the biggest thing. Is just the success is a byproduct of just caring about people. Mm-hmm. That's what we really try to do, is just care about every single person that we interact with and try to really help them, and then the success follows, It
comes across in this conversation with you today. Thank you for caring. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm honored.
Friends at home, we're always looking for interesting and exciting guests just like Racquel. You can email me, laura.hettiger@firstalertfor.com. Until next time, thank you for listening, thank you for learning, and thank you for being live with Laura.